kababayan, napanood niyo ba kanina yung latest no sa impeachment trial? Yun nga sa mga kababayan, yung sa NBI agent. Mukha siyang bula na parang pumutok kanina nung hinarap na siya netong si Senator Alan. Mantakin niyo nagtanong pa lang ng isang tanong etong si Senator Alan. Ayun, umamin. Sa assessment nila, threat daw yung sinabi niya itong si VP Sara, yung nga tungkol dun sa press con, no, na pinagbantaan niya daw itong buhay niya itong si Presidente Lisa Marcos at yung Speaker of the House nga. Pero nung harapin na nitong si Senator Alan, itong witness na ito, at ayun, mga kababayan, umamin na dun sa kanilang affidavit, conditional threat yung sinabi nitong si VP Sara, which is hindi naman talaga pasok bilang impeachable offense. Kasi nga conditional threat Tsaka wala namang nangyari Tsaka hindi mo talaga maiintindihan yung 2 minutes clip na yun kung hindi mo talaga papanoorin ng buo yung 2 hours video. Isa pa mga kababayan, nung nagtanong na rin no etong si Senator Robin, ayun, wala na. Talagang huli ka balbon na etong NBI agent na ito, no? Saka mga kababayan, ito para kay VP Sara, no? Yung wala naman talagang threat dun sa sinabi niya. Kasi nga may konteksto yun Kung mapapanood nyo man mga kababayan, maiintindihan nyo kung bakit sinabi yun ni VP Sara. Ito kasing ahensya natin, mga kababayan, gagawin lahat para makahanap ng butas laban dito kay VP Sara. Ang kaso, wala. 3rd day pa lang, bumokya na yung kanilang witness. Siyempre, dahil yan sa napakagaling na tanong nito si Senator Alan, Imagine niyo mga kababayan kung nandyan pa si Senator Marcoleta. Baka nakahigit na yan sa kanyang salawal mga kababayan. Hindi ba? Nakakabilib talaga yung itong mga pagtatanong netong si Senator Alan. Talagang mahalata mo sa kanya na talagang kumbaga eksperyensyado siyang abogado. Yung mga tanong niya na kung ikaw hindi masyadong nag-iisip, akala mo normal lang yung mga tanong niya, hindi mo napapansin, pinapaikot ka na pala niya para umamin ka mismo. Ikaw mismo ang kumbaga ikaw mismo ang maglalaglag sa sarili mo. At yun nga yung nangyari kanina mga kababayan dun sa witness na yun, no? Isa pa mga kababayan, yung kanina, panay objection itong nangyari sa kampo netong si Attorney Ligutan, Kaya tuloy nasita na siya netong si Senator Chis at talagang harapang sinabi sa kanya na mukhang nafu-frustrate na itong si Attorney Ligutan, no? Yung ekspresyon niya kanina, yung kilos niya sa line of questioning nito si Attorney Narvasa. Halatang kinakabahan mga kababayan, baka biglang madulas, no? Yung kanilang witness at masabi yung hindi masabi. Ang kaso, wala din mga kababayan. Ang ending ayun, nahuli rin sa kanyang bibig yung NBI agent. Kaya kanina kung mapapansin nyo, object itong si Attorney Ligutan. Kasi nga mga kababayan, pinipigilan niya nga magkamali sa pagsagot etong si Kalilong kanina mga kababayan. Yan, sinita tuloy siya netong si Chis Escudero, no? Pero wala. Talagang nagpatuloy pa rin sa magaling na pagka-cross-examine nitong si Attorney Narvasa, mga kababayan. At mukha na mga pumanig, no? Sa defense team ni VP Sara yung momentum kanina dun sa nangyari mga tanungan at yung pagka-cross-examine ng kanyang defense team, At ito na nga mga kababayan, re-reacta tayo dito kay Attorney Poa. Nagkaroon kasi sila ng press con kanina pagkatapos nga nung 3rd day ng impeachment trial nitong si Vice President at Yun nga mga kababayan, mukhang masaya ho ang aura nito nga si Attorney Powa kanina, no? At sabi nga niya mga kababayan, mukhang tumama yung hinala nila, no? Itong hinala nitong si Attorney Powa. Nakuha daw nila kasi yung target talaga nila kanina sa cross-examine. Na para bang mga kababayan sinet up lang nila yung witness at nung sumagot na, ayun, nahulog sa bitag netong defense team. Kumbaga mga kababayan, yung talagang pinaka-target nila, yun nga, magsabi, itong witness nito, no, na, kumbaga mga kababayan, yung sagot niya, aayon sa defense team. Kumbaga, mawawalan ng credibility yung mga sinabi niya sa kanyang affidavit sa ginawang cross-examine nitong si Attorney Darbasa. At kitang-kita nyo naman, mga kababayan, yung facial expression ng kabilang panig. Yung dating mukha silang arugante, kampante, biglang naging alanganin na ho kanina, lalong-lalo na itong si Attorney Ligutan, mga kababayan, na panay object ho ang ginawa kanina. At hindi natin syempre mga kababayan, hindi natin pwedeng hindi bigyan ng credit si Attorney Darbasa. Talaga nga, good job ho ang kanyang ginawa niya kanina. At iba rin ho talaga kasi yung naging diskarte niya itong si Attorney Darbasa, no? Yung pag-atake niya ng mga tanong na akala mo paulit-ulit lamang, yun pala mga kababayan, pinapaikot lamang itong witness. At ayun na nga, nahulog sa bitag nitong defensive ni BP Sara. Talagang napakatindi ho yung ginawa nilang cross-examine, no? Kumbaga, nakuha o narinig nila yung gusto nilang marinig dun sa witness, mga kababayan. Kaya naman ito, reakta tayo dito kay Attorney Powa, mga kababayan. Itong sa mga sinabi nga ho niya kanina, no? Ramdam mo yung gaan ng pakiramdam niya ngayon, mga kababayan.
Yun, usual, I'll take questions as usual, buti lang medyo maaga tayo today.
Sir, kamusta po ang ikatlong araw
Today lang. Okay naman po, we're very happy with our performance today also. I'd like to of course thank my co-counsel, Attorney CJ Narvasa, who we feel did a really good job sa kanyang cross-examination. We had targets for today and we can confidently say that we were able to achieve those targets.
Ano po yung mga targets?
Marami kaming mga gustong lumabas, di ba? For example, again, I cannot discuss the merits, but at least yung kita nyo, para factual lang tayo, marami kaming gustong palabasin, like for example, yung extent ng investigation na ginawa, anong mga ibang parts ng video that would provide context, for example, and then also yung nature ng affidavit of investigation, kung isa lang ba talaga yon o may isa pang nauna, etc. So, pagdating naman doon sa kung ano ba talaga yung punto na gusto naming tumbukin doon, hindi ko na lang i-discuss because that will really go into the merits. No? So sa factual lang tayo. And those we had our targets basically for cross-examination, and we're very happy that Attorney CJ was able to execute that to the T. Well, it gave at least a context on our case theory on the matter, di ba? Meaning kung ano ba yung sa pananaw namin talaga ang nangyari dito at bakit namin sinasabing walang basihan yung nagiging allegation nila, especially on the dun sa pagiging isang impeachable offense nito. But as the presiding officer mentioned, dito naman sa litigation, dito sa mga nangyayaring paglilitis, ang importante is maliban sa mga statements, ang importante talaga ay mapakita natin through yung mga ebidensya na ilalabas pa natin sa mga darating na araw. Again, ang gusto kong mapaliwanag sa ating mga kababayan, may kasi kumbaga we take our turns, so prosecution muna talagang naglalatag ng lang ebidensya, at pagkatapos naman nun, once the prosecution rests and makes their formal offer on the documentary evidence that they will be offering, panahon naman yun ng depensa para naman maglabas at maglatag ng aming mga testigo at mga ebidensya. Mahirap po kasi Sir Henry, pasensya na po talaga kayo because we will be getting into the merits so when we discuss that, we sway public opinion one way or the other, pero ang masabi ko lang po, gusto lang naming ipakita kung ano ano ba talaga yung naging extent ng investigasyon na isinagawa, and through the words of the witness, makikita naman po natin kung ano yung nangyari talaga. Well, with the existence of the statement, siguro alam naman nating lahat ay hindi na tayo makikipaglokohan that the statement never existed. But as to the video, for example, it's important kasi ang ebidensya, hindi naman yan pwedeng maglakad mag-isa papunta sa korte, hindi ba? That's why, and not just with impeachment, that's with all regular court proceedings. No, hindi naglalakad ang ebidensya mag-isa papunta sa korte. So you need someone to identify it, to authenticate it. Pagdating sa video, syempre, gusto natin malaman saan nila nakuha yung video, 'di ba? Dahil lalo na sa panahon na ganito, wala tayong aligasyon na may binago, wala tayong sinasabing ganon, pero syempre kailangan natin makasigurado na authenticated yung video, na ano ba yung source ng video nila, 'di ba? Kasi karamihan sa atin, I think, I don't know if any one of you here were there, but members of the press were also in that video, and I think it was a Zoom video, no? So importante na ma-compare yung Zoom video dun sa pinapakitang video sa atin para masabi natin na talagang faithful yung video sa talagang naganap, or talagang yun talaga yung video, no, na lumabas, or yun yung naging Zoom press conference na lumabas. So although, you know, I'm sure maraming na natagalan sa proceedings kahapon, that's normal, and I'm sure pagdating sa defense, that's why I always say, in fairness to the prosecution, pagdating sa defense, baka kailanganin din namin gawin yan, mag-authenticate ng hindi lang ng video pero mga dokumento, which will take time because we will need the persons who have personal knowledge in terms of extraction of documents, videos, transcripts, etc., to identify them in open court, no, and authenticate them. Well, kanina kasi ang sinasabi naman ay siya hindi expert but competent witness. So we were just really, in every cross-examination, we always test the credibility of the witness to be able to determine if the witness is in fact capable making the testimonies, no, that he or she is making. So that's just part of it. Pero I don't want to form conclusions because for the impeachment court, again, factual lang, no, we just wanted to show that there are two affidavits, no, of investigation, hindi lang isa. Yun na lang po, no. Ngayon, as to what that translates to, again, I really cannot argue our case in the media. Ang affidavit of investigation kasi yun basically yung complaint, no, na inihain ng NBI. Well, kanina ang inisip namin, di naman na kailanganin muna para sa witness na ito yung 2-hour video. That's not to say that we will not be asking for the playback of the 2-hour video for some other witness, no. I'm not saying we will, I'm not saying we won't. Parati kong sinasabi, tinitingnan namin base sa takbo ng proceedings kung kailangan ba o hindi. And as I've told you, I think both the prosecution and the defense ayaw rin namin patagalin you know, we play a 2-hour video that will take 2 hours 26 minutes of our time, and the of course judicial time also, no, the time of the court. So hangga't naman hindi kinakailangan, sabi nga namin, hangga't pwedeng papabilisin namin. Pero kung sa tingin namin kinakailangan, we're still not discounting the fact that we might ask for that whole 2-hour video to be 2 hours 26 minutes video. The way I'll respond to that is once the witness is called, the offer is made. If we feel the need to object, of course we will object to the purpose for the presentation of the witness, and kung hindi naman, we will be ready to cross-examine that witness. Tuesday po yata, balisa. Handa naman po kami dahil expected na po yan. Lumabas na kasi sa pre-trial brief ng prosecution itong mga witnesses na ito. So tayo naman ay handa na as far as, of course, Agent Lotok, I think, no, Agent Lotok, and si Captain Bello, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, nandun na rin sila sa House Committee on Justice hearing. So we have prepared for them. Well, that is for the prosecution kasi sila ang nagtawag kay Attorney Zulaika. So we will just be there to see if we need to ask further questions on Attorney Zulaika once the prosecution is done with their direct. We'll see if there's a need for us to cross-examine. Yes, yesterday, nung lumabas yung motion, no, nakatanggap kami ng kopya ng motion for issuance of subpoena, which included the name of Attorney Zulaika Lopez or Yusek Lopez, we have informed the Vice President of the same. And Ano naman siya, as I told you earlier, yung reaction naman niya, wala naman siyang ganong reaction doon because I think everyone expected it naman, including the Vice President. I think na-mention na po kanina, balikan na lang natin na-mention naman kanina yan, no? But of course, one is context, hindi ba? But I guess to sum it up, it was the transcription. That's why ganun yung tanong ni Attorney CJ. But again, gusto ko lang kasi I'm worried that I'm courting contempt, no? Whenever I answer questions on substantive matters or at least matters on the merits. So I just wanted to just state for the record that I'm just trying to be factual and recount what happened inside without saying that we were able to prove this or that. Well, si Attorney Narvasa is a very level-headed person. So kung ano man ang mga batikos sa kanya kahapon, pagpuri ngayon, his disposition remains the same. I think sanay naman kaming mga abogado na you can never please everyone at any given time. Ako, I've been spokesperson for a few years and I have my group of bashers and group of friends. So we always support each other naman pagdating sa mga ganyan. But our disposition just be level-headed. Sabi nga natin, di ba, hindi tayo nagbibilang kung sinong panalo, sinong talo sa araw-araw because it will happen. There will be times that members of the public won't like what we do. There are times that members of the public would like it. So sa atin, we're just focus on our job and do the best we can to defend the Vice President. Definitely, para sa akin, 10 out of 10 din. Score internally, meaning we're very happy that we hit our targets. But as to yung scoring on nanalo ba kami today or yesterday or ano, I really don't want to do that. As you can see, ang tanong sa amin kanina is bakit kami object kahapon. And then ngayon nakita nyo rin, puro objection rin ng prosecution. And I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the prosecution objecting. There's nothing wrong with us objecting. It's just lawyers doing their jobs. Because we had targets and we were able to meet our targets. So I think, we
Napaka-clear ng testimony ng ating witness na talaga naman eksperto sa cybercrime. So, although medyo technical, naintindihan ng lahat. So, we're very happy at sana wag naman
Wag nang masyado objection.
Hindi, wag naman siyang tirahin.
Tirahin.
Kasi tinitira na yung witness namin sa social media.
Yeah.
Sana naman wag, he's just doing his duty.
Good afternoon po. Your expectation po today?
Cross-examination natin.
Okay.
So, witness natin.
Okay.
Cross-examination. And then, ang susunod is our second witness.
So, are you feeling right now, especially during the first day kahapon?
We feel that we did well, the prosecution. At napaka-clear ng testimony ng ating witness na talaga naman eksperto sa cybercrime. So, although medyo technical, naintindihan ng lahat. So we're very happy at sana wag naman
Wag nang masyado objection.
Hindi, wag naman siyang tirahin.
Tirahin.
Kasi tinitira na yung witness namin sa social media.
Yeah.
Sana naman wag, he's just doing his duty.
Ano na expectations natin sa cross-examination mamaya ng witness?
Well, we have no expectations. We're prepared to be surprised. But if not, we will continue with the same level of excellence. We are very confident in our evidence, and we are very confident in the testimony of the witness who is just there to tell the truth as a public servant. So, wag naman siyang i-personal at sinisiraan ng mga trolls yung public record niya.
Ma'am, sa pre-trial order, release na kayo doon sa mga witnesses ng Article 4. Are we still pursuing that?
We reserve the right. We cannot comment yet on the psychiatrist. But,
We can say for sure now that that's planned or you're going to call in
reserve. We have made reservations.
to
We have made reservations on certain witnesses.
Like,
if I tell you, I have to kill you.
no, but nasa pre-trial naman.
Yeah, no, my general reservation.
Could be or could not be. Parang
Could
ganun
be or
yan.
could not be, depending on how the sessions will go. But whatever it is, we are backed up by testimonial and documentary evidence. You saw naman the videos yesterday. We are preparing for trial again, and we hope na malinaw, we're trusting na malinaw yung presentation yesterday as a preliminary to all of these videos, indicating the intent of the president and her actual contracting of an assassin.
Actual contract.
Yes.
You can show that? You can show that?
Yes, that was the
She-
testimony. That was the testimony. That was her own words. That I have actually hired
Okay.
a person to kill the president.
So you don't-
I have actually hired.
So yun na yun.
Her own words.
So you don't need, halimbawa, NBI saying na, oh, we found that person na the Vice President contracted.
Let's wait for the testimony because the attorney Matibag is also going to be a witness. Let's wait for what he will say.
Can we read between the lines? It's a
Well,
statement.
I will just say that this was not the end of the investigation. There were further investigations conducted.
Alright.
Let's wait for the results of those investigations.
Si Director Matibag is scheduled for next week na naman.
I think he is a subpoenaed witness. He will be a subpoenaed witness.
Thank you.
Sorry, ko lang po tatanong na, kailan po ninyo i-formalize yung inyong
We sub-
on the VP po, according to
Hostile.
VP as of
There is a schedule to submit the list of witnesses every Tuesday. So we submitted our list of witnesses for next week, yesterday. Next Tuesday, we will submit our list of witnesses for the week after.
Ako Tuesday ang cycle natin.
Every Tuesday po ang cycle because Wednesday, to give the court the opportunity to issue the subpoena on a Wednesday. So we are required to reveal our witnesses, subpoenaed witnesses, every Tuesday.
So possible kasama po sa Tuesday yung PNG as hostile witness?
Well, her head is blooded but unbound. Hopefully she will appear here again because as I mentioned in yesterday's hearing, we intend to subpoena.
So sa Tuesday po, possibly sa
Next Tuesday.
possibly po yun.
We intend to subpoena her as we manifested in court. But whether the court will actually issue it is dependent on the discretion of the presiding judge. And as you heard yesterday, he will require a legal memorandum of issue. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're going to the session hall.
Ma'am, very short lang po. Yung tungkol lang po dun sa mga
Gilid na po, ma'am. Ma'am,
Sandali, sandali. Hindi makukunan. Sandali, yung cameraman po. Very short lang. Kasi yung yesterday we witnessed how the defense continuously objected to the questions, minsan not allowing to finish the question, tapos object pa rin ng object. Ano po bang tingin niyo po rito? Is it part of their legal strategy o hinaharangan lang ang katotohanan? What are your thoughts?
Well, we cannot speak for them, no? Pero tama ka doon. Dalawa lang ang pwedeng maging appreciation dyan. Either they believe that there is a genuine basis for objection or just part of the legal strategy.
Pero talagang hindi to pang-aasar lang.
Well, that's their prerogative kung ano man yun. No? That's part of the trial and it really happens.
Ma'am, voting threshold, i-raise niyo po ba yung issue na yun?
We haven't talked about it, no? So, let's wait and see kung anong magiging action ng House.
But it is an option to question, to raise this before the Supreme Court.
Actually, it's not just an option for the House. It's everybody's option.
Opo, but saan mas kumikiling yung House at this point, ma'am?
We haven't discussed it for the purpose of our official position, no? Although for myself, I have pronounced it even before we started this impeachment trial. Na I'm not aligned with the position of the impeachment court, but that is just my personal opinion. It doesn't bind the prosecution.
Ma'am,
Okay.
VP as hostile witness?
Excuse po.
Let's wait and see.
Kunin ko lang po.
Gilid daw.
Ba yun? Makukumpel ba yun? Magkaka-appear ba yun under pain of arrest? Because there is a valid and subsisting arrest. And then, yung dalawa naman are detained because of a court case. So they are in detention, cannot participate, and they are at this point outside the coercive powers of the Senate, unless, for example, mapayagan sila ng Sandigan Bayan to attend. So, ang pinaka-crucial na period is either magbobotohan na o nakaboto na. Kasi lalo na pag nakaboto na, and assuming hindi makakuha ng 16 because of those special circumstances na may ilan-ilan na mga miyembro na hindi man lang nakapag-participate kasi nga of their respective situations na outside of the coercive powers of the Senate, then magiging justiciable controversy yan na kung halimbawa ang makakaboto is less than 16. There's not going to be any issue if despite of those circumstances na walang 2, 3, or even more senators ay
May 16.
may 16, then there's no issue. May 16 or more than 16, there's no issue. Yun po ang sinasabi namin kung bakit premature pa, kung bakit not yet ripe for adjudication. Yung tinatawag na doctrine of ripeness, that the courts cannot decide on constitutional issues not yet in the absence of an actual and fully developed controversy. Is there a controversy now? None. Wala pa. Too early. Nag-umpisa pa lang yung hearings, yung trial. So later siguro, magiging very ripe talaga yan and proper for a judicial case before the petition with the Supreme Court is kapag nagbotohan na at hindi na-achieve yung 16 and i-insist ng mga bumoto na dapat hindi bilangin yung mga outside of the coercive powers of the impeachment court. Pero kung nakakuha naman ng 16, no justiciable controversy. No issue.
So ma'am, hindi prosecution ang dapat mag-question, it's the Senate or judges? Or can the prosecution also, or will the prosecution question it?
It's being discussed. It's being discussed. Kasi, clarify kahapon eh. Actually, before nag-raise ng parliamentary inquiry si Senator Ping Lacson and clarified and asked for clarification kung yung mga pronouncement ba on the first day dun sa pagtackle ng mga preliminary threshold matters, including the issue of voting, of the voting threshold, is it already the ruling of the court or opinion lang or declaration lang ni Senate President ni Presiding Officer Chis Escudero about, the existence of a particular jurisprudence. Parang ganon, yung Bayan case ang sinight niya. So, we were actually about to make a manifestation and make such clarification. Put forward a motion for clarification. Papa-clarify din sana namin yon. Ano ba yun? Is that already the ruling of the court and not just a pronouncement, a statement by the presiding officer? Pero yung sagot nga, is this already a ruling because no one from the other members of the court opposed it. So, hindi na kami nakapag na-manifest and ask for clarification. But our position is premature pa. This is not, of course, a manifestation of any lack of confidence on the part of the prosecution in garnering the 16 votes. Kaya lang kailangan maging klaro because of mga ganyan na mga nuances na meron mga ilan-ilan na hindi naman pala pwede. Kaya yung issue about yung ituturing daw na acquittal yung mga wala kung hindi mapapayagan, acquittal ang kanilang boto. It's not proper at this point to be saying that because the more fundamental issue is can they ever participate in the voting or in the proceedings and in the voting. If they're unable to participate, ano yung sinasabing vote nila? So because it will be an issue again is whether yung issue ng acquittal dun daw on the part of the absent or members who are outside of the coercive powers of the state ay kung if at all pwede silang isama sa functional base ng 2/3. Is it really 24? Kahit tatlo yung not present because they're outside the coercive powers of the impeachment court, or dapat ibase yan doon sa members who are functioning as the senator judges who are functioning as such members of the impeachment court.
The stance of China remains the same. And as what the Chief of Staff said, they continue to bully the Philippines. So may we know what's the biggest change or achievement so far by the Philippine government insofar as this, I don't know if we could say implementation of this arbitral ruling, and will there be any possible change or strategy that the Philippine government will be taking in the near future with regard to China?
Second question first, definitely there will be. It is a fact of life that we have to be responsible to constantly recalibrate our strategies. So we will not message what strategies are, we just implement them. Now, the greatest achievement is, from what China says is a mere scrap of paper, you can see the convergence of 86% of our population, and it is getting more granular. Today, I had the honor to attend a mural festival where the cultural assimilation of the West Philippine Sea. And we hope it expands to the whole maritime domain of the Philippines, not only in the West Philippine Sea, as an entitlement to include our extended continental shelf, becomes part of the narrative and the way forward. Actually, it's not merely a narrative, it is an imperative. Secondly, that ruling, which is pejoratively named as a mere scrap of paper, has resulted in the convergence of several like-minded partners, devoting actual resources, time on a whole array of affairs. Of course, from the mill-to-mill maritime cooperative activities to awareness, to civilian and non-civilian convergence on several fronts. From the environment to the illegal occupation by China of several features, which is not only here, but we see that being narrated in Japan, and we see their activities extending to the Pacific Islands, where they have no business and no purpose whatsoever. Dropping a submarine launched missile there. What is the purpose? But to intimidate, to roil the situation, to destabilize a situation, and it is disrespectful to the small Pacific Island countries who need to be more reassured that their area will be free from these kinds of activities. And thirdly, it just shows you, just like in in BDM and in Ayungin, their total disregard of the environmental protocols. So, from 2016, we have come to this, 2026, where we are converging towards a shared goal in standing up and uniting against what is a false narrative. And we need to do more, naturally. We need to do much more. But within our horizon, each and everyone's horizon, of course, all of you here in front of me, your horizons are much, much longer than ours. We each need to do as much as possible. Number one, to build national resilience and avoid over-reliance on one source, be that China or whatever. Build our own self-sufficiency. Work with others to ensure connectivity, protection of critical underwater infrastructure, fight the United Front Works, which also operates in illegal manufacturing, drugs, human trafficking, illegal mining, illegal extraction of critical minerals. Also stop the false narrative and revisionism of manufactured Communist Party of China history about what their civilization is, and we actually do not deny that China and the dynastic pre-PROC China has a long history. But that's that. It does not include us within their possessions, just like they included Tibet and other areas.
Sir, you have mentioned that...
These are a few of the things. And what we will do in the future is also what Juan de la Cruz will do. This is a struggle of the Filipino people for the future generations. Cannot leave it just like this.
So, sir, so far, what's the directive of the President during the command conference? And may I ask regarding you have mentioned during the interview this morning about the Abukuma, and you mentioned that it's already done. So what does it mean?
It's already done. It just needs to be implemented. Now, the rest of the details is covered by a now notional secrecy agreement between Japan and the Philippines.
Can we expect the acquisition within the year?
We maybe not.
But sir, my other question about the President's directive. Sorry, that's the last.
No, ano na lang, the President's directive is to be steadfast in our external defense operations. Yun lang. Claro.
Good afternoon, sirs. Given the 10 years since the arbitral victory, China is strengthening its de facto control over the area. Do you feel there are limits to resorting to legal strategies?
Definitely there are limits to resorting to legal strategies, because legal without hardening and without deterrence, and as just with diplomacy, without deterrence, will result in accommodation and appeasement. That's what we do not want, right? We know China is increasing the tension not only here. It's not only in the West Philippine Sea, against Japan, in several areas, even in the Arctic, mind you. Even in their, as a former counterpart of Lithuania said, their active operations in the cybersphere in Lithuania. So China is not only, we are not the only ones. The world is not immune to their expansionism. So it is a matter not only of my concern, but the concern of several other countries in the world.
So, would it be safe to say that the Philippines is shifting from mere diplomacy and legal actions to developing military bases and strengthening deterrence capabilities?
It is not only the Philippines. several other countries, whether they have territorial contests or not, are actively strengthening their internal defense capabilities because of the fear of the unknown.
Creates tensions between the Philippines and Beijing. And he also emphasized the importance of communication. So I wonder, can you imagine a world where communication is possible between the militaries or the defense ministries of the Philippines and China, given one, yung sanctions sa inyo, sir, yung actions sa West Philippine Sea, and not to mention activities such as espionage, United Front work? How can you even imagine a world where communication lines are potentially open between the two countries?
Carefully controlled communications are necessary, but negotiations and other activities are not possible, unfortunately, because of the lack of good faith on their part and a lack of respect for our territorial integrity.
What can they do to correct that lack of good faith that you're talking
Whatever
about?
they're doing right now, do not do it and get out of where they are. The situation. Bajo de Masinloc, for example, is 900 kilometers away from them. It is 100 or so nautical miles from us. What is it to them to get out of our EEZ? They don't need it. They need it for expansionism. Why are they doing this in the South Pacific? So it's a creeping strategy, as far as I can see it. And there is an author, Rory Medcalf, in a book, who wrote that unlike any other power, the Indo-Pacific strategy of China is directly tied to regime legitimacy. So a lot of these things of what they're doing to Filipinos is to prop up their controlling regime. That is one theory. I certainly subscribe to it because from the formation of the Communist Party of China, all the rectification campaigns, almost all the major shifts in China have been for securing leadership security.
Basta sa command conference yung current political situation sa bansa, considering na medyo mainit itong ulit.
Hindi na pag-usapan yun at all.
So may possibility ba na yung mga nangyayari as of late ay may kamay yung United Front Works ng China? Mas naging active ba sila sa political arena?
Sa ngayon, sabihin natin, lahat ng posibilidad iniimbestigahan namin. Basta foreign malign influence. Bigyan natin ng linya, foreign malign influence sa partisan politics. Pagka may foreign malign influence na sa anumang bagay dito, ibang usapan na yon. Kaya aming inaalam at minomonitor lahat ito. No? Hindi lang naman dito sa political developments, kung hindi sa business environment, sa pagbibili ng lupa, at mga iba-iba pa. Kasi parang pugita ito eh. Maraming tentacles. No? O parang dikya ito eh.
Sir, last na lang, sorry.
Okay, sige, Ed yan. Then after that, sir, will be from Rafi Tima of GMA.
So after nitong command conference, how do we assess the current security climate ng bansa?
Ano, no?
Security climate, sir, ng bansa. Paano natin i-assess ngayon?
On a defense perspective, it is very secure. On a national security, because of noise, of course, there are challenges. We cannot deny that because of other factors. But in a defense and a military matter, it is secure.
Thank you. Sir, Rafi Tima of GMA.
Sa anumang security situation dito sa bansa, meron ba siyang pinahayag?
Katulad nung sinabi ni General Bronner kanina, to preserve the gains and maintain peace. Dito, nabanggit din niya yung darating na BARM election, kailangan ito ay manatiling matahimik because this is the first election. And nabanggit niya, among all the 22 peace processes, sabi daw sa kanya ng UN Secretary General, ito lang ang nagsasubsist, no? Na may relative peace. So, ang role ng AFP dyan ay critical upang mag-deter ng violence at kung sino man ang gustong mag-disrupt ng process. Secondly, yung concern na is the United Front Works. So, katulad nung nasabi ni Chief of Staff, yun yung pagtutuunan natin ng pansin.
Sir, next question.
Follow-up lang po.
Hindi na.
Next question, sir, from PTV.
Good afternoon, sir. Kay CS po. Yun, sir, una, nabanggit nyo naman po na first semester po itong command conference. So, hindi naman po ito.
Hindi. Hindi po ito parte ng loyalty check. This is a regular occurrence. Every year, ginagawa po natin yan yung mid-year, so first semester, and then second semester towards the end of the year. So, 3 taon ko na po ginagawa ito na binibrief natin ang ating Pangulo every mid-year and end of the year. So, hindi po loyalty check at hindi po kailangan ng loyalty check.
Second question ko, sir. Yung tenure nyo po recently is marami pong nabatong accusations and naging biktima rin po kayo ng fake news. Sinasabi, pati kayo nakatanggap daw ng maleta. Yun po. And yung AFP daw, yung sinasabi po ng mga yung mga nagki-criticize is naging sunod-sunuran nga raw po. Ngayon pong pababa na po kayo as the Chief of Staff. How would you like to address these allegations or issues against you po?
Alam niyo po, hindi ko na rin pinapansin yung mga fake news dahil pag pinansin po ninyo, talagang baka ma-discarril pa kami sa aming trabaho. So nakafocus lang kami sa trabaho namin. And this is what I also tell our soldiers. Dahil maraming ingay, hindi lamang personal attack naman sa akin eh. It's an attack on the organization, on the AFP. So sabi ko, wag na tayong magpa-apekto. Let's just focus on our jobs kasi marami pa tayong kailangan gawin. In fact, kailangan tayo ng ating bansa, ng taong bayan para mapanatili ang stability ng ating bansa.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Sir, next question will be from Kyoto.
You know, that person has a different perspective when it comes to foreign relations. It might, diminish, or we might go back to how it was, how it was under President Duterte's time. Do you share that concern?
Actually, let's put it this way. There are about 3 or 4 stages in our foreign policy journey with China. First, it was total non-recognition. We recognized Republic of China, right? Then there was, shall we say, reaching out and establishing a relationship. That was in 1975. And it was guarded and tested exchanges. Then there was a period of, after the opening up of China by Deng Xiaoping, there was a period of cooperation. Then there was a period of accommodation in the West Philippine Sea. The Jomsri survey was that. Then there was a period of appeasement, which did not. President Duterte's administration, China rewarded all that appeasement by lasering our RORES. So you can see the intention, right? So it is a matter of concern now that we have brought to light a false narrative by China, their illegal operations, their disruption of the local economy, their corruption of several members of society through drugs, etc., is a matter of concern not only for us, but also for coalition partners who have put skin in the game, na nag-ambag dahil tama ang ating naratibo, tama ang ating direksyon. Numero uno, I doubt that anybody with 86% of the public supporting our actions, the President's actions in the West Philippine Sea, it will be very hard to ignore this. That's why hinihikayat namin on a non-partisan basis, patibayin pa natin to para anuman ang mangyari sa larangan ng politika, ito ay non-debatable na. At ito ay part and parcel ng national interest na hindi tayo dapat magdebate.
Yes, sir. Sir, connected to that, sir, you mentioned working with like-minded allies in the next, moving forward. What is the Philippines going to do in working with claimant countries? Do you have plans for that?
Definitely. For example, we have an expanded strategic relationship with Vietnam. I'm going to talk about confidence-building measures with our counterpart, and I'm going to have a return visit with the Deputy Prime Minister this year. And with the claimant countries, the major concern is the intrusion into their areas by China. So I believe because we do not actively antagonize each other, we will come to the point where there will be a legal solution that will be accepted by all people. It is very hard to enter into an arrangement which will not be accepted by the public. So we need to marshal public opinion. What are the facts? What's the reality? What should we be doing together? What should be ours? But definitely, under our Constitution now, whatever is in our entitlements within the archipelagic waters and other areas we have jurisdiction, and our extended continental shelf is part of the territorial domain of the Philippines in different stages, no, depending on the distance from your baselines, to include the extended continental shelf.
Sir, last na lang, sir. Medyo malayo na konti, but related pa rin to Japan. They started the talks, yung boundary discussions with Japan, EEZ. Can you give us an update? When is it going to start?
I'm not, the boundary delimitation talks are a DFA talk, so the proper agency to answer that would be the DFA.